let's get into something with the 76ers, okay? Because my brain is really, believe it or not, focusing in on the Sixers tonight. And the Sixers season is confusing me. I've been thinking a lot about the recent back-to-back. You had rough-looking ISO ball. You had an unacceptable fourth-quarter offense. You have Nick Nurse and the minute distribution being talked about a lot. But there's also some positives, right? Tyrese Maxey's development continues. VJ, while looking more like a rookie than he did in, let's say, his first game, there's still exciting basketball to watch when VJ has the ball in his hands, whether he's showing off his athleticism, attacking the rim, however it goes for him. And then you got the Grimes, the Watfords. There's just interesting things that do make it enjoyable to some level. But then you also have the Joel Embiid frustration that lingers with most. So this is what I want to try and find out as we are together until 2 a.m. at 215-592-9494. What's the goal this year? What's the goal this season for you listening? Because I am confused. I have no idea what to feel. And for a while, I was just buying into the Spike Eskin mindset. Don't worry. Just tune in. Wherever the ride takes you, enjoy it. But don't put expectations on anything. But that's strange for me. And maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's right. Maybe that's what you should do. But when I watch the good things happen, which they've had a lot of great things, fighting back double digits on the road against D.C., beating the Boston Celtics in the Garden, right? There are so many things that they've done well, but then we've seen the flip side, which is, all right, reality settles in. A lot of these minutes are piling up on some of the youth. Even VJ has mentioned to some of the media that this is a gruesome schedule, and it's back-to-backs, and it's a lot of travel, and it's a lot of physicality, and it's a grown man's league. And I'm going, dude, you're 8 games in, bro. This is 82 games. If he's already feeling it, not that there's anything wrong with feeling that. You're supposed to feel that, but man, it's pretty damn early to feel it. So what does that look like in the future when you project the VJ Edgecombe experience? What is the goal? What's this all about? Let's listen to Nick Nurse, because I think Nick Nurse said something very fascinating after this most recent loss to the Cavs. This is what he had to say about the minute distribution.
Have any thought about calling any of those guys?
I did.
A couple extra.
I did. Yeah, for sure. We were considering it, and then we kind of just made a run back with a couple minutes to go to get it down to, I think, 10 or 11 or 9 or something like that. And I don't know. We're in a stage right now where I'm way more in the, we got to continue to show fight. You know, I told you from the beginning, like, we're trying to dig ourselves out of some stuff from last year, right? And the attitude and the fight and all that stuff needs to be something that we got to continue to establish, right? And once we started making a little run there, I was not going to pull the plug on that run until it was time. And it just and to be honest with you, I'm glad we left them in. I'm proud of the way they played to try to continue to fight, and they cut that thing down to, I don't know, again, I can't remember, but it was probably around 10, and with a couple minutes to go, and I don't know, we were just in 1 or 2 or 3 of the games just like that. So anything can happen in this league.
It's fascinating to me that he brings up how bad last season was, how brutal and disturbing it was, and it was so bad that it actually left stank in the locker room. And now he's looking at this season as the head coach with this mindset of, we need to rip that stank out of the locker room. We have to reset the culture. Maxey said something similar to start the year. So is that what this season is? We now have to rebrand the entire 76ers. And what does that mean for expectations? What's the goal? Is there a goal? If they get to the second round and lose, is that actually looked at as a positive? Compared to over the last few years, if they were to do that, it would be insanely pathetic and extremely frustrating. But now it's okay. because of the youth movement, but you still have Embiid and you still have him tied to that contract and you still have Paul George, even though he's not on the floor for you. Well, he is in practice, fully participating, but he's not in games. It is such a bizarre and strange place to be that I'm lost and I'm confused, and I have no idea how I should be consuming this. I'll consume it. Oh, trust me, I'll be there every single night. But it is conflicting because I'm all in on Maxey taking over and the franchise being all about him and X, Y, and Z and VJ and all this stuff. But what should I be looking forward to at the end of this journey of this season? Is it just building blocks? Is it more than that? Should we anticipate Paul George to show up and be a reasonable starter? I'm not telling you a superstar, but a reasonable starter that should then make the ceiling higher? Should we expect Joel Embiid to feel more comfortable as the season goes on? I have no clue. I don't have the answers. I spent a lot of time digesting a lot of their play so far this season, and there's been so much good. Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Watford. Drummond had a nice spurt there in that second half of a back-to-back where things looked like it was crumbling, and he showed his worth. And, of course, they're just pockets within games, but that's sort of what the watch is this season, which made me wonder when they failed so miserably against Chicago when it all looked so glorious for a long time. That was the best first half they played. The problem is they followed it up with one of the worst halves they played, and it was crushing because you knew what was going to happen in Cleveland. With no McCain and no Joel Embiid, with the travel, with the miles on the tires for some of these guys like Maxey, Oubre, VJ, they weren't going to have a lot of gasoline left in the tank, and that was shown. So, knowing all of that, knowing Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter had horrendous iso ball, jacking up 1-footers, okay? It was bad. But there's also been awesome comebacks down double digits in fourth quarters, and you show resiliency, and you show fight, and we take pride in the way that you ball out there. And there's just so much on so many different sides of the coin. I'm confused. The Sixers season is confusing me, and I need your help at 215-592-9494. What's the goal for this season in particular? What's this all about for you? You watching. Is it strictly the development of the youth and where it takes you, it takes you? If they go to the playoffs and they lose in the first round, but you watch Maxey and VJ Edgecombe have successful years? Is that okay? Is that enough? If Paul George and Embiid get to some level of stability, does that raise the ceiling? And now you still have the mindset of what we've had in years past, where you need to at least see them get past the second round? Because at that point, you have an Embiid that's a lot better than the version we've seen as of late. It's making me very nauseous because some nights I'm waving the rally towel like I'm at CBP in October and I'm watching the Sixers and I'm loving what they do. They're giving me effort. They're giving me fight. They're not giving up. They're facing the Celtics. They're doing good things. It makes me smile. And then I feel over a 48-hour period, I got Nick Nurse running some of the high-profile guys into the ground where it's not sustainable. And you're seeing a 24-year-old who can run around the floor like no other already tire out a tad, and we're 8 games in. So now I need to look at the angle of, what's Nick Nurse? Do we have to look through the lens of, is Nick Nurse good? Is he bad? Is he okay? Is he just a guy? I don't know. So now the assessment period moves from Joel Embiid and Paul George being in the crosshairs, in the binoculars, under the microscope. And we move to the VJ Maxey stuff, And now we even have it on the coat. What is this? What is this? And maybe I'm being dumb. And maybe I'm overcomplicating it. Because a part of me wonders if last season was such a nothing burger. And you basically got robbed of night-to-night basketball. Shouldn't you just be excited the sport is back? But is that lame? Is that stupid? Is that silly? Is that letting guys off the hook? Because there should be at least a standard? But do they even have a standard? Or is that why Tyrese Maxey stated what he stated to start the year, which is there needs to be a standard for Sixers basketball? So is that what the season's all about? Forget results. It's about playing with a purpose every single night. Well, then you can't get mad at Nick Nurse for playing Maxey in a blowout, because part of the DNA you're trying to create is it doesn't matter if you're up 20, down 20, you're getting a bunch of intensity and a bunch of pressure and guys who aren't giving up, and they're going to fight to the last second. Especially considering you were the team that were up 24 the night before, and the other team scrapped their way right back into it and won. So you saw that 24 hours before. Do you see how I get myself lost in this, I don't know, like jungle gym, if you will, of Sixers basketball? I'm very confused. And this is where I need your help out there at 215-592-9494. What is the goal? What should be the goal? How are you consuming the product? It's bizarre. And something I said before the break with this organization, is there something they're hiding from us? Because this Paul George thing is insane. And we don't like him, and reasonably so. The podcast, the way he put the podcast on pause last year. I think it's time to focus on basketball. Oh, you mean the team that's 40 games under 500? You think now it's time to maybe quit spitting into the mic and putting all your effort into basketball? Wow, shocker. Read the room. A guy who didn't really want to be here, but they were willing to pay him the most, and he's not afraid to hide it, that guy. So no one's paying attention because we don't like him. But this guy is participating in practice consistently. He's out there putting in time, putting up shots, sweating, moving, grooving, dancing, doing whatever the hell he's doing on the floor. Yet I can't see him playing a game. I can't get him to lace them up to play in an actual game yet. What is going on? There's been a lot of bizarre things to happen with this franchise. Let's just add this to the list. What is this? It's so strange. We got no answers. We got nothing. I just got to see videos of the beat reporters watching at the Camden facility off to the side, putting up all sorts of, content and recording them, and that's it. That's all we get. I think by now we should have some sort of answer. Are they hiding something from us? I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's much urgency for an organization that's trying to set a new standard. I find that part of this scenario and that part of the equation awfully strange. And I don't know how good he is. I don't know how bad he is. I don't know anything about him, which kind of sucks because I should know more, but I don't. Could he help us? Is he going to hurt us? Is it going to be like Embiid where you don't want to have him out there? Because I watch Embiid and I say, whew, he cannot move. He can't move defensively. He's a liability defensively. And it's not his fault. It's just where his body is right now. But knowing that and knowing how we are contractually tied to him and knowing he's not going anywhere, you're stuck. So when I watch him, what do I do with that information? Especially when he's not coming up clutch, when he's taking poor shots, when you're up by 20 and he's trying stupid passes and playing dumb basketball. See, with Joel, I could live if he's failing because his body's just not holding up anymore, because that's really out of his control. But he's been in the league a long time. Some of those things that I saw against the Chicago Bulls was just flat out a disgrace and just like immature basketball. Early on, Joel Embiid stuff coming out of Kansas. When we said, well, he learned the game at 16, you got to give him time. We can't be having that, but we're still getting that. And that's late in fourth quarters and dumb shot selections. And, well, why isn't Nick doing anything? Oh, my God. I could go down 50,000 different rabbit holes right now. I'm in that type of predicament. And that's why I felt very passionately about this show with you all tonight, because I'm hoping by the end of this, I have some sort of solution. Because I'm lost, I'm confused, and I'm in a bad headspace. Because what I want to do is just forget about all the nonsense that they've created over the years and just appreciate that I could consume the sport again. But that only lasted me a couple games. Because as I now watch the season settle in, and it's early November here, okay? There's a long ways to go, but it's not game 1 or game 2 anymore. That adrenaline rush of basketball's back, opening night, you see everybody at the Xfinity Mobile Arena, you go on the road, people are excited the season's back. Okay, now you start to get into the flow of the season. What is the purpose? I've shifted to, I need answers now. I need a goal in mind. I need to see if this fits the respected timeline of the 82-game season, a fair timeline that we set as a fan base. And I don't know what that timeline is. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. But the phone lines are there to talk this through together. 215-592-9494. Let's go to Raji in Philly. What's up, Raji?
Hey, what's up, Brodes?
What's going on, man? I need your basketball mind tonight. I need to know what the goal should be this year.
I think you and Jack were on the right track. I mean, Andre Iguodala got us to the second round. Joel Embiid did. So yeah, why not these guys? And the only difference is they're not MVPs. So the only MVP in NBA history to not get out of the second round, that's who we got. So
he's injured.
Well,
he's been injured.
That's what I want to call about.
Okay.
Everybody always gives the injury excuse, but there are playoff series where he just choked. So we can't always give the injury excuse for his failures.
I would imagine that a lot of guys early in their careers have had playoff moments where LeBron James, his first run with Cleveland, was known as the choker because he should have done a better job. So I think that's just natural progression of learning how to win in the playoffs more than it is you're an absolute choker of a player for the rest of your life. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're a choker until you're not.
Fair, I guess.
Yeah,
in a way. But is that fair? I don't know. I don't know if that's fair. Actually,
the Boston series. Now, I don't know, Atlanta series. I don't think he was a rookie or a young guy.
No, but I don't put that on him. I mean, Ben Simmons.
I put a lot on that.
Ben Simmons is the biggest failure in history. So what bothers me is in the NBA playoffs in a half-court set, if you have a guy out there who can't shoot a basketball, that changes the whole dynamic of what every team can do to you defensively. And you don't think that's going to hurt a player like Joel Embiid when you have a guy who is literally useless in a slowed-down half-court pace? And then we blame Joel for Ben Simmons' flaws, which literally changes the entirety of what you can do.
Bro, he's played with other not Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is not a Hall of Famer, but he's played with Hall of Fame caliber players, all-stars of all ilks and styles.
Who?
And Joel Embiid. He's played with James Harden. He's played with Jimmy Butler.
I'd imagine you think James Harden's overrated.
I think James Harden's still a Hall of Fame player who, as a number one option, took his team past the second round.
Okay,
Same with LeBron James,
but James Harden is league-wide called this big, insane choker who stinks. Yet now Joel Embiid needs...
He is a choker. He is a choker, but so is Joel.
I think that's unfair to say that you're a choker until you win. I actually think that's extremely unfair.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
All I go off of is the guy's still getting fined for doing gestures.
Yeah, I don't like that.
He's not a winner. Fine, I'll take away the choker title. He's just not a winner to me. But the point is, I like the youth, so I agree with you guys. Let's set the bar to the standards of our current young guys. I think it's highway robbery that Paul George and Joel Embiid are making this much money doing nothing or minimal effort. And
yeah, but see, I don't think is it minimal effort if you had 8 surgeries and like I don't think that's where I think the Embiid thing goes too far. Is it minimal effort, or is this just he's done everything to put his body on the line, needed a billion surgeries, and his body doesn't hold up anymore? But does that mean he's not giving you effort, or did he give you what his body is, and this is just what it is? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I agree. I will not. Ever since that article came out where we had to kind of, which is rare. I don't see other players doing that. But the point is that he's not a bum. He's not. You're right. He's not. It's not a lack of effort. It's not that he's a bum. He's talented, but he's underachieved.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's not a winning player. He's not a winning player in my eyes. But and he puts up regular season stats, which is fine.
But he's put up playoff stats too. That's where again we disagree. It's like he's dropped 50, he's dropped 45. He does that, and it never gets pointed out ever when he does that.
Okay, I'll point them out. He put up a couple of good statistics in games, but there hasn't been a notable series. Name me a notable playoff series where he's made an impact.
The Toronto Raptors when he hit the buzzer beater.
That was one game in the first round, dude.
So what? But you have to play the first round. And you asked when there was one. I gave you one, and you don't like that one. I'm just saying that was a moment in the first round when he needed to be big, and he was. There's been games where he needed to have 50. He has 50, and he scored 50 in a playoff game. That happens. So when it happens, you can't say it's irrelevant because they do happen.
I just acknowledged it. I'm taking accountability. I'm taking accountability, and I'll say that he's won a notable series in the first round against the Raptors. But what I am saying, dude, is Schwarber and Harper, we scrutinize them. We scrutinize Hurts, but I just don't think we do it to the same standard.
What? You think Embiid doesn't get criticized enough?
Well, I don't think that we're considering that his salary is not equating to the output that I think the other guys.
My gosh, this is Raji. I love you, and you know I love you. I think that Joel Embiid gets attacked. I think more than anybody in this city from a personal level, more than anybody.
I respect your opinion, and I'm trying to be a little bit more lenient with this guy. So that's why I agree with you on the setting the standard to the second round with Maxey and BJ with our youth. And I think that's why I like the Flyers and the Sixers, because they're at least giving their youth a restart versus what the Phillies are trying to hold on to. With their vets.
And Raji, I love you, dude. I'm just a little. I love you.
Likewise, bro.
I love you.
I appreciate you.
Of course.
Appreciate talking to you, bro. But I like the healthy discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. You know what it is for me? I am very aggravated with Joel. I am extremely disappointed in Joel. This is not the road I would take. Like, if I could have visualized where this would take us, I wouldn't think it would be this road, right? But I do think it goes overboard where, like, tell me when he's done something. Well, okay, in that Knicks series, he drops 50 points in Game 3. When you're down 0-2, you come home, you win a game with him scoring 50, and that game doesn't matter. In Game 6, he drops 40. It's the do-or-die game for you. You're on the road in MSG. Or was that a home game? Sorry, that's a home game. But you're at home. You lose, but he drops 40 in a game where you're like 40, 50. These aren't like, hey, he shot 6 of 28 and he scored 12 points. You know, like I just think sometimes it goes crazy overboard. Love Raji to death. We always go back and forth on Sixer stuff. I love his Sixers passion for sure. I think what happened there was it's one of those things where I am very aggravated with Embiid, but when I feel someone takes it too far with Embiid, I sound like I'm an Embiid lover. Like, I'm tired of the Embiid stuff. I think it's kind of ran its course. I know they're stuck with it, and I wish it went differently. It didn't work out. He's definitely missing some leadership qualities I wish he had. You know, there are some things that he never fine-tuned. He's talented as hell, and anyone would die for talent like that on their roster, so you got to also maintain that part of the equation, too. But just one of those things where I think people go so far that my guard goes up and then I sound like I'm the biggest surprise. I'm tired of the Embiid stuff, truth be told. It has hit a nerve of fatigue in a way and all that. So even from a supporter mindset, it kind of ran its course for me. But I do think it's a little sometimes obnoxious where it's like, he can't do this or he was never able. Well, was it that he can or was it that he had 9 meniscus surgeries because he's 7'2"? Is it the fact that he had 2 surgeries on his hands in the same exact offseason and maybe he didn't shoot the ball well because he had 2 thumb surgeries and an orbital bone fracture and like that is actually impacting him, and is that an excuse or is that real? I got to imagine that if you can't see out of your eyes and you got to wear a mask and you need to have surgery on both of your hands and you try to play in the NBA in a 7-game series against the Boston Celtics when they know that you have an orbital bone problem, it's going to be hell. Okay? And by the way, there's a guy on your team who can't do anything in a half court. Like these things really matter to the outcome. And that doesn't take him off the hook by any means because he's been a problem too. But sometimes I think it just gets all pointed. And maybe that's part of the superstar life. And I need to let my guard down in that regard. I don't know. It's a show of me figuring things out here with Sixers. Whether it's how to move forward with Embiid, as a fan that's frustrated with him, but also has supported him and had his back, and as a fan trying to watch the future. You know what, Rashi? I think that phone call was big for me because it's now opening up my eyes of I need to understand how to approach Embiid because a part of me didn't like how I talked to you about it because now I feel I'm letting him off the hook, and I don't like that because there's parts of your point that are valid that I actually subscribe to. But I know you don't like him a lot, so then I started to protect my guy. Okay, all right, so this is a reset for me. I need to figure out how to approach this season, and I need to figure out how to figure out the consumption of Joel Embiid's presence. Both of them. One is a team aspect and one from an individual aspect with Embiid. It's going to take some time. I'm willing to look in the mirror and say, you got work to do, Brodes. Let's go back to the phones. Neil in Mount Laurel. Yo, Neil.
Yo, bro. What's going on, man?
What's happening, man?
Not much. So Sixers and Phillies. Sixers first, as we're talking about it.
Okay.
We're 8 games into the season, and I'm kind of with you. I'm not sure which way to approach the season. I've gone from, in the span of 8 games, no Tatum, no Halliburton. It's a weak East. We got a shot, to I'm watching the Bulls game on Tuesday through the lens of you got a scheduled loss versus the Cavaliers. You cannot lose the Bulls game. And I'm watching Joel, who, I love for all the reasons why, and I hear you on the fatigue of what Embiid has just done to us, whether it's through injuries or whatever. But I'm watching him clog the lane. We got 2 talented guards. Maxey is fatigued after just a couple of days off. And I go from the team has a chance to make an impact run versus just get Embiid out of the game and let the kids play. And I'm not sure which one to do. I make games in, bro.
I know.
I'm not sure which way to go.
Yeah. No. It's fair. I feel the same way. And it's funny you bring up the East, though, because – man, that does open up a whole different discussion. Outside of the Sixers, when we look at the landscape, I mean, there's not that much there that should scare you. Even with this very limited, raw, young core. So I don't know. Should that change our expectations too? I haven't even opened up that door yet. Now you just open it up, and now I'm sweating again.
Well, that's what I mean. The Knicks are literally it. The Cavs in a series, they can compete. The Sixers, the Bulls, the Pistons, these are teams. You can't be scared of these teams if by the time the playoffs happen, Embiid can be functional for 25 minutes and Paul George can stop being a healthy scratch. I'm not, whatever that's about, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. I have zero clue. He's practicing fully, and he's not anywhere even close to being on the floor with the squad in games.
But you tell, and it's on the sideline. I'm like, they pan to the sideline for a timeout, and I'm like, get this dude off the screen. I can't even look at him.
In his Dodgers
get
hat?
on the floor or get off the screen.
Yeah,
he
he had his Dodgers hat on, too.
Yeah, I saw it.
I know. Let's go to Jordan. What's going on, Jordan?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Heard a lot of good things from you guys, and I can't say I can be super in on the puck it up stuff.
That's
Obviously
okay.
A Flyers fan, but
That's
I don't
okay.
know a lot of super information on that. But I want to talk Sixers a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I obviously watched the last game, and that one was, with no Embiid and whatnot. But
Yeah, no McCain.
I really wanted to talk about the Bulls game.
Okay.
So obviously Maxey did great, and that's awesome to see, and Maxey looks amazing and all that. But I guess I just kind of wanted to see your take on it. Like Embiid, I know there's been some stuff about him with the minutes limit and all of that, but they kind of pushed him a little harder in the Bulls game, and it just looked like he lost his legs.
Yeah.
Really lost his legs.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my thing is, I just want your take on the fact that, like, how does the coach approach that? Because he lost it. I mean, he had nothing left in the fourth quarter.
Agreed. And you know what? I don't know. And I almost wonder if, and I know he didn't do this because he probably anticipated Embiid to handle the situation better, but I wonder if he went into that saying, we're going to give him the ball, we're going to see where this goes, and we're going to use this as a jumping off point. So if this does go wrong, I can reflect back to it and say, well, Joel, listen, we gave you that chance in Chicago. It didn't go well. And let's say they give him another chance in a couple of games and it doesn't go well. At some point, does he use that data to then be able to sell, we're flipping the switch to Tyrese Maxey and be like, this is why we have to go this direction because we just can't survive like this anymore? Or do we even have to go through that painful experience? And should we just give Maxey the ball and say, why do we have to sell Joel Embiid that? This is where we are, and I'm the coach, and this is what we need to do. Or I don't know. I'm trying to find answers on where to go from here and why they even went that route to begin with, because it's clear you can't play ISO ball with Joel Embiid the way we could 4 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, and that's the biggest thing I saw is the fact that, I mean, look, I've been watching the Sixers forever. I've been a Philly fan forever. And again, first-time caller, I listen to you guys all the time.
I appreciate that.
But, yeah, I remember when Embiid could just you get him the ball, like, the speed slows down, but he can just do his thing. And I'm not seeing that now. Like, the mid-range jumpers aren't there. He can't blow by guys like he was able to do, 2, 3, 4 years ago. And when I look at the game and I watch Maxey throwing the ball to Edgecombe, or even when Grimes is in the game, and it just seems like everything speeds up well, and then as soon as the ball gets to Embiid, it just stops.
Yeah.
And before that was fine, but now, he's not scoring like he used to. So
I know. And here's another problem too, Jordan, and I don't know where this goes. Maxey's only 24, VJ's very young, but you ask these guys to play 40 minutes a night, 41 minutes a night. I actually heard Kyle Neubeck, who covers the Sixers, say this, and he said he was in the locker room, and VJ Edgecombe, 8 games in, essentially mentioned how the schedule is something to get adjusted to, which is nothing crazy, but we're 8 games in, it's a back-to-back, and he feels the schedule is getting tough, it's getting gruesome, and whoa, we got 72 of these things. You know what I mean? We're not even close. We're just getting started. So if that's how he feels now, at what point are the Maxies and the Edgecombes, as young as they are, if you run them into the ground this much, how long are they going to be able to survive?
I mean, and as excited as I am to see what the Sixers have done, like, I mean, I know we're only eight games in,
yes.
9 games, whatever it is. As excited as I am to see this, it's also like, where does it stop? And I think that's where you're going there too. And as as sucky as that is to think about, it's also just like how much can we get into this knowing, we have Joel Embiid who looks like he's kind of beat up and just doesn't have anything left, and then Paul George still hasn't even played. But, I mean, what is he really going to have left?
But he's
anyway?
he's practicing fully.
I do, and he's still not playing. I mean, it's very questionable. Like if he's practicing fully, why is he not in the game?
Even if he
Considering
plays
we really
10
need
minutes.
a guy who can defend the wings, too.
Big time. Oubre's got to play 40 minutes. And Paul, even if Paul George gave us 10 minutes because he's limited, that's fine. 10 minutes and being out there with the team is something.
Yeah. Well, considering Kelly Oubre is playing great, too. Like, I mean, his numbers are fabulous. He's doing everything that – I mean, he's doing more than you can even really ask from Kelly Oubre. So I'm just confused when it comes to the Paul George stuff. Like, if he's practicing fully, why is he not in the game? If he can give you anything whatsoever, especially after watching what you just saw from the Bulls game, and then you bounce back from that against the Cavs, which, I mean, I think a lot of us are probably expected that to be a loss anyway. But again, I'm just stuck because how excited can we really get? And I mean, I love the Sixers. That's, one of my biggest sports, and I just don't know how big can we jump into it knowing that this is what we have. Like, we might have a team that can play great for, half the game, maybe three quarters, and then we get to the end and we just don't have a finisher or we don't have a defender. And yeah.
Would you be surprised if they made the playoffs and their ceiling is a first-round exit? Would you be surprised if they get to the second round and fail the way that we have been over the years? I don't know. I keep walking through these hypotheticals, and I guess my gut would say right now that I probably could see them making the playoffs and losing a first-round series, and then we talk ourselves into it was a good starting point for VJ Edgecombe and Maxey as the faces with McCain. But then you're also stuck with Embiid's contract and Paul George's contract, and that almost brings the vibes down. So it's a very bizarre spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, so where I stand is I could easily see this team, especially the way this stuff started, and the East is the East. I mean, look, everybody knows the West is what it is, and the East is just a little lower end. I could see the Sixers being probably a 4 or a 5, and then just getting blown out. I mean, like taking one game in the postseason.
Oh, no.
And then, yes, we sit down at the end and we talk about the fact that Maxey is Maxey. I mean, look, he already looks like, we know he's a stud. Like, we know he's a great player.
Sure. He could be all NBA good, though.
A lot.
He could be all NBA level.
I mean, you look at his numbers right now. I mean, you really look at his numbers right now. And I think in the last, 2 years, we saw Maxey by himself when Embiid was out. And he, his percentages were down and his numbers were still good, but his shooting percentage was down. But you can't say that now. I mean, the guy's dropping what is he, 38 a game or 37 a game or something like that. And his percentages look really great. And Edgecombe has impressed me dramatically. I think that was the best pick they could have made. And they have pieces. But when you consider the fact that the biggest money they have, or almost the biggest money they have, is Embiid and Paul George, and Embiid just doesn't seem to have it, and we haven't even seen what Paul George can contribute. I mean, at the end of this year, say they get to the playoffs and they lose the first round. I mean, what do we really have?
I know.
And I guess that's just where I'm.
Yeah,
I'm
and it's almost a double edge. And Jordan, thank you so much. We're up against the break. I really appreciate the back and forth. The problem is there is excitement with the future, and that's awesome, and that's so much fun. But you're right. When you look at it and you look at the whole entire landscape, you can only go so far because you're handcuffed with the other part of this team. Half of the team is super fun and exciting. The other half is actually dragging you down. So you have the part that's dragging your entire franchise down, stuck here, and no signs of it getting any better, while the other portion of the roster is exciting and trending the right way. So then you're just kind of broken as a fan in a way because it's hard to digest.